just landed in Sydney and I'm going to speak right there in that arena. 20,000 young people from all around Australia, speakers from all around the world, and it's going to be amazing. I'm excited and I'm nervous. But these are the things that I get to experience. I get to travel around the world and see young people engaging with their faith, encountering this love of God. And people often ask me, particularly in Australia, where very often our churches are empty of young people, how can we get young people engaged in their faith? And how can we bring young people to the church? Well, I'm going to compare this to a little bit of sports. This stadium where we're speaking at is a sports stadium. I'd say one of Australia's, if not Australia's, national religion. People in Australia love their faith, but here are a few things, 4 things in fact, that the sports industry do well to engage young people. And I think as a church, we have a lot to learn from this. Let's go. So we're here in the arena about to do sound check. 20,000 young people here in this arena. We're so excited. Band setup, Zeb drums, our super keyboard setup about to happen here. So let's talk about the first thing that clubs do well, that we as parishes can also implement. I'd say the first thing is that clubs, sports clubs, and anyone who has young people actually asks young people to be involved. That's the first thing, outreach. Very often we're scared to ask people to get involved. We're scared to speak to people and say, hey, young people, come. One of the things that we do in our youth ministry is that we go from school to school. We speak to thousands of young people. Sometimes it bears fruit, very often it does bear fruit, but sometimes not so much. But we go out and we, without apology, ask people to be part of retreats, to be part of our youth ministry, to come to our youth masses, to come and get involved in youth ministry. So that's the first thing, outreach. Ask these young people. Whatever it is, you see, even in my vocation, if a priest had never come up to me and said, Rob, have you ever considered the priesthood? Have you ever considered becoming a priest? I would have never thought about it. So we need to ask, we need to speak, and we not be afraid that we're going to offend young people or inconvenience young people. Backstage, about ready to go on stage for the 20,000 young people early in the morning here. Pretty tired, but energized and ready to have an awesome day.
Maybe like if Jonah did like a radio. Because all of the series, all he wants to do is go and talk.
You see, a lot of people ask me often, how do we get young people into the church? Well, music helps, entertainment helps, being engaging helps. But this is not what is going to keep young people in the church. They need community. They need people around them that they can look forward to seeing, people around them they can trust, people around them who will encourage them in their faith. So community is not only within the church, but a community that follows up, that calls, hey, I didn't see you at church this weekend. What happened? Or people on social media who stay in touch. Community doesn't begin and end at a mass, but it needs to continue throughout. And so this is what we as a church need to learn, even from these sports clubs, to keep in touch, to keep community going, even when the service is over. Backstage, getting ready for a sound check. It's the night before the final mass, so we're expecting 40,000 people here, and it's going to be very exciting. And I think one of the things that we do need to understand as well with young people, as in all sporting events, is purpose. You see, young people need a sense of purpose, a sense of worthfulness, if they're going to be involved, if they're going to stay involved in something. So young people need to understand that they have a role to play, something to contribute to the church, and not just be a participant, a passive participant. One of the things that we do in our church, in our youth group, is make sure that they have space to use their talents. For example, we have a media team, we have a team of people who do graphic design, we have a team of a service team who welcome people, we have assistant welcomers, you know, people who need to hand out bulletins to those who are handing out bulletins. Anything you can do to get people involved, ministers of communion, any way that they can get involved by helping others, serving others. Get them to serve. Don't be afraid to ask if they're interested in serving others. Don't be afraid to ask them to step out of their comfort zone. They are going to want and need to look beyond themselves. A sense of purpose, a sense of belonging. So here we go. So excited. This is the final day of ACYF, backstage, sound check, getting ready for an amazing final mass with 40,000 young people. This is what it is all about. It's about feeding our young people, giving them an opportunity to grow in their faith. And this is what we can do as parishes. For example, when I first started Stronger Youth, I created a retreat. We created a retreat where young people could come to. We could go to schools and invite young people to something. It doesn't need to be a retreat. It could simply be a series, a DVD series or a teaching series which you offer during the season of Lent or during the season of Advent. I created a resource that you can use in your parish, which I'll put a link below, which can be used just to teach people for a season to love God and to be fed by the Word of God and fed through the sacraments. This is what clubs do. They train people, they feed people so that they can be excellent followers, that they can be excellent and they can excel in their own sport. Let us do the same.